Minute answer drills are quick quizzes of important conceptual issues in the chapter. If you're looking for a particular problem, watch the bottom left-hand side of the screen. We're going to take it from the top. Let's see. An 80,000 seat stadium was created in what kind of facility layout? That would be fixed position. How do I know? The sheer size of the particular product that's being delivered or the construction of something like a building or a stadium is got to be done in one place, so that makes a fixed position. All right, next question. Designing a process layout focuses on determining what? Now, designing a process layout, the actual action of that is essentially, and I will try to write this neatly, arrangement of processes. That's why it's called a process layout. Processes, that's a P right there. Now, wait a minute. That's the action, the arrangement of the processes. So what is it really that the designer who's doing the arranging is focusing on? What is the result of arranging the processes? It's the traffic patterns. Because traffic patterns are created by moving the processes in various locations. Oh, all right, next question. Name 2 disadvantages of a product layout. Now, there are numerous disadvantages, but let's see 2 that come to mind. A product layout is relatively vulnerable to disruption. You say, wow, defend that statement. Now remember, product layout is another name for, or it's easy to picture, an assembly line. If you have one unchanging pattern of flow, that is a lot easier to essentially interrupt than other types of layouts. Okay, fine, we still need 2 disadvantages. The other disadvantages is, wait a minute, product layout, assembly line makes a more standardized product. Wouldn't be fair to jot down standardized product as a disadvantage, because that's just a classification. It's a kind of product. But what does that mean to the customer? Less flexibility for customer. You're making a more standardized product from this type of layout. Okay, now next question. The grouping of processes needed to perform similar work for, and here's the key word in this one, families of products is known as what type of layout? That is indicative of a hybrid layout. The idea of searching for families, grouping together products into families, also known as, for instance, a cellular layout, or associated with another good key term, group technology. All right, next question. What closeness rating reflects indifference to the nearness or lack of nearness of 2 departments in a hybrid facility layout? Okay, now wait a minute. Closeness ratings, that's a scale. It's the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and then X. And each one of them, if assigned, is like a grade for a relative level of importance. This one's asking for the particular letter grade for indifference, meaning I don't care if we are neighbors or if we aren't neighbors. Now you're thinking, okay, A, E, I, O, U, indifference is an important decision point. That would be I. No, be careful. Indifference, where you don't care one way or another, it's neither good nor bad, if we're neighbors, is U on that scale. Often explained as the abbreviation for, another word for indifference, unimportant. It is unimportant whether the 2 departments are neighbors or not. Okay, next question. 2 assembly lines build the exact same product. All right, that's interesting. One assembly line has 15 workstations and the other one has 20. Okay, so one of them is longer than the other. Which assembly line builds the product faster? That would be the 20 workstation assembly line. And it pays to pay attention to that, because you're probably thinking, what? Which one operates? Which one builds faster? One is shorter, one is longer. Yes, the longer one will be building product faster. The reason is, picture this. There's a certain amount of work that has to go into building a single unit of product, right? The longer assembly line has more workstations to divide that work across, so everybody's got a little bit less to do, which means they can do what they have to do faster, which means ultimately you're producing more faster. All right. Next question. Two assembly lines build the same product. Okay, again, another comparison. One assembly line has a cycle time of 30 seconds, and the other one has a cycle time of 90 seconds. So one of them's shorter, one of them's longer. Which assembly line has more workstations? Now notice that they build the same product, so they are completing the same tasks. The one with the shorter cycle time will have more workstations. That's actually going back to the other question we were looking at, like the 15 versus the 20 workstations in the previous question. Anyway, the shorter your cycle time, the more workstations you're going to have. The longer your cycle time, the more work you can give each workstation, and thus the shorter the assembly line is going to turn out to be. All right, next question. Which would be expected to be less expensive to the customer? A product that resulted from make to stock, or the same product from assemble to order? Now, what was it? Less expensive? Less expensive would be make to stock. Because what has been proposed here is two different operation strategies, make to stock versus assemble to order, and we would expect the make to stock to be less expensive. It's a virtue of make to stock. Okay, next question. Which would be expected to offer greater variety to the customer? A product that results from, now notice it's the same two choices, make to stock versus assemble to order. That would be assemble to order. That's the beauty of assemble to order. If you're comparing it to make to stock, assemble to order can provide a greater variety of products, although not necessarily as inexpensively. All right, next question. Would reducing the cycle time of a product line speed up its production or slow it down? Reducing the cycle time. If you make the cycle time shorter, that speeds up the line. The shorter the cycle time, the faster the line. The longer the cycle time, the slower the line. Now, what do we mean by speed? How fast it's producing the finished product. All right. Next question. Project management is most likely to be associated with production within which of the four layout types? Oh, wait a minute, that's that stadium again. That's fixed position. Yes, the whole body of knowledge of project management is most closely associated with, if you're talking about those various layout types, the fixed position layout type, because generally you are doing something just once and you've got to do a lot of careful coordination. Okay, last question. Process layouts are often designed according to what objective, which is to say, what do we want to see out of the design? What makes one design better than another? The classic, although it's not true in all cases, objective is to minimize traffic. You're arranging all those different processes, thus you are creating traffic patterns. How do you decide that this particular set of traffic patterns is better than this particular set of traffic patterns over here? Oh, this one is minimizing the traffic. Oh, all right, then that's our objective.